Hello and welcome back to this board game life. My name is Mark, and today I'm here to do a review of Tatsumi. I do have the limited edition, so some things in this might vary from the retail copy, as I did get I did back this, and it had just arrived just the other day, and I've already got a chance to play it, and I'm here to tell you about it. Before I do request you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button there for us, and also hit that bell icon. Now, you've heard me talk about Rob getting ready to do content. I've got great news. He has recorded his first video, and it's getting ready. He's working on a few things, but his video's ready. He's just getting his thumbnails and all that type of stuff, getting to learn all the stuff that I've been doing in the background here with the videos. So he's going to have a video up very, very, very soon. Maybe today. I don't know when when it's going to post, but he's got it up, and I got to view it. So I'm so glad to see Rob back doing content. I know he's excited to get back to doing content for the channel. So hit that bell icon. That way you'll know when either Rob or myself are releasing content. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm here to talk about Tatsumi, and again, here's a copy of the book. Let me see. I got the lid here. Looks the same. I just have stuff in the lid, but there's the box, so you get an idea. All right, so this is releasing right now, so it is just shipping out to those that did back it on the crowdfunding campaign. So retail, published in 2026. This is done by Adams Apple Games LLC, designed by Jeremy Rosenhart, and the art is by Shirley Gong. The base game plays 1 to 4 players. This limited edition does come with an expansion that will be available at retail, which does expand the game to 5 players and adds additional gameplay elements. Game plays in about 40 minutes, and it's for ages 10 and up. Now, kind of an overview of the game. And this is, whoa, what did I just do? Lost all my screens. There we go. Again, I'm on as I've mentioned in some previous videos, recently have had some issues with my PC, and I've been a Windows user for so long, and I decided, I have an iPhone. I've had an iPhone forever, and I really love it. And I'm like, I'm gonna try a Mac. So my recording system is a Mac, and I'm still learning. And I just clicked something and everything went away, but clicked the same spot and it all came back. So anyways, again, you don't care about that stuff. So let's just get to Tatsumi because it's so awesome. Okay. In Tatsumi, the island celebrates you as their guardian dragon, their Tatsu. So your calling is to restore the elements on your islands and renew good fortune for your people. You will be drafting resources, collecting sets, and scoring bonuses in Tatsumi. Relies on position of your dragon avatar on the seaboard, creating a more immersive and believable abstract strategy experience. And I'm going to show you that seaboard in a minute. It's really cool. The seaboard randomizes the stages the entire game's resources into a 3-dimensional central board, so you can strategically look ahead, planning when to collect and when to score. The tile placement in Tatsumi has a puzzly yet satisfying feel through a clever combination of engine building, instant scoring, and elemental-inspired endgame tile placement bonuses for you to maximize. Each player may play with a symmetric setup for learning or competition, or a fully asymmetric island and dragon combination for tons of replayability. Fans of games like Azul, Harmonies, and Splendor will appreciate the intuitive gameplay, elevated componentry, and additional features specifically developed to extend beyond gateway games in this genre for gamers that enjoy solo play, symmetric and asymmetric combinations, and a multi-game feel packed all into a single box. So that's the whole, publisher's description, right? So a quick rundown of this game. Let me actually flip to the table view. So I've got everything set up here because of camera space, and I wanted the camera to be in as close as possible and not way zoomed out. No, I've got one player board here just to show it off. Normally, you've got some of these little thick tiles. There's one at each right, one at each spot sits right in the middle. Now, normally these would sit off to the side, and then the ones down here on the bottom of this of your screen goes underneath it. It would actually just kind of slide underneath, and then the one up here would go up top. It would be up on top of it. So for display purposes with the camera, I'm kind of bringing these all in so that you can kind of see them, and then putting a player board up here as well so that you can kind of see. So keep that in mind. They will be laid out up, down, left, right, not stacked like these things are. Okay. So what you're going to do, and it might be a little hard to see, but I've got the player dragons out. I've just put the 4 players. So if you had 4 players, you're going to put your dragon. Yellow would put it in a corner closest to them. Each player you'd start on a corner. If you're playing with 5 players, there's an additional dragon. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. The gray dragon is the actual expansion dragon. So you've got black, orange, blue, and yellow as your main colors. And then if you play with 5th player, they actually start in the middle, and there's specific rules about how to use the 5th player, but we're not going to cover that. But the 5th player is in this limited edition if you backed it from GameFound. If you didn't, then you will get 4 out of the box, and then you will have the opportunity to purchase this here. I'll show you that on that camera. You can buy the 5th player with some additional content. Okay. So what you're going to do on your turn is a player is going to basically move. Now, this game has asymmetry and symmetry, symmetrical and asymmetrical, symmetry and asymmetry types of play. So on one side of the board, the ones that say Tatsumi, there's like 6 player islands, 6 player boards in the game. One side is going to say, they all say Tatsumi. On the other side, in fact, let me grab a different board that doesn't have components sitting on it. They will have, so all of the boards are going to have this side that says Tatsumi. This is the symmetrical side. All the boards are the same, but you could flip them over and they all have a different name up here. You will get an island card that will explain how this particular island plays. And then the dragon cards as well, you will have, well, I didn't have them set up. Oops. But the dragons also, right here. So here's a dragon card, and there's 2 sides. So this says, claim any 2 topmost rings or orthogonally adjacent to your dragon. Now, all the dragon cards, man, my lighting just seems to be so weird today. And of course, the writing, let me try this card. Let me try this dragon card. Maybe that's easier to see. There we go. That's a little easier to see. So where it says Fujin, okay, that says the same dragon power. So this is the symmetrical side of this. The other side, where they will all have the dragon name and say Sama after it, so Fujin Sama. This one is going to, the asymmetrical power of this dragon, so he can move up to 2 sea wells in one direction, claiming the topmost rings if possible. So this dragon's going to collect differently in the asymmetrical version than all the other dragons. So each dragon has an asymmetrical way to gather, and then each island has an asymmetrical way of how you are doing things on the island. So that's really cool. Anyways, I'm like jumping all around here. I need to stick to what I'm going to have. But so in the symmetrical version of the game, you will basically, what you're going to do on a turn, you're going to move, and then you're either going to gather or do an offering. It's simple as that. And they can be done in any order. So you have 2 things you're going to do. Move is one that you will always do. And then you're either going to gather rings or you're going to make an offering, which allows you to take and put some, the rings that you collect from the seaboard here. I forgot what this is called. It's your holding area. So you have your holding area. when you gather. So when you do a gathering, you'll put your rings in your holding area. If you do an offering, then you will put the rings that you have here onto your island board. Now, you can move and then do the gathering or offering, or you can do your gathering or offering first, then move. And there's reasons why you might want to do them in certain orders. Anyway, so moving allows you to move your dragon on the seabed. I can move orthogonally as far as I want up until I would hit another dragon. If he was here, I could not go over the dragon. I couldn't go past him. So he blocks, so I could go here or here this direction. I can go all the way up to here. I could go diagonally as far as I wanted. So when you first start out, again, everyone's in a corner. So again, symmetric play. Asymmetry is going to be very different than what I'm going to show you, but just so you get an idea of how the base symmetrical style plays. Say I wanted to move here. You would take the ring from the well that you just left, place it in your holding area, and then wherever you ended, you can take, and I'll show you how it shows it on here. So as you down here, you're going to claim any two topmost rings orthogonally adjacent to your dragon. So you can take the topmost, but not diagonally, only orthogonally. So if I wanted two blues, I could take these two blues. What you can't do is I can't take this and this. I can't take two from the same seawell. You have to take top rings. So I can take this yellow, this blue, and or this black. And then, so let's just say I went with these two blues, right? That was a gathering move. So that was my move and my gather. That's it. That's my turn. And then it goes to the next player. And they're going to, now, this guy can only go to here if he moves diagonally because this one's blocking him. But he can move up here. He can move all the way over there. And when he moves, let's say he moves here, he's going to do the same thing. Going to take the one that he left, and then he can take any topmost. We'll just grab these. All right. So eventually you're going to get to a point. Let's just, let me look at what I've got out here. Let's say I gathered a couple more of these black rings. So I have 3 black rings, 2 blue rings. Let me offset them a little bit so you can see those. So now I want to move over here to this, what do they call this? The shrine. And you can be in either this space, or this space, any of these 3 along each edge to be with the shrine, to do the shrine. So this says to do an offering, I have to have 3 black rings, okay? And you're ignoring this, my fingers covering. This just lets you know what's on the other side, okay? That's only showing the other side. Because once I'm done doing this offering, this tile will flip. Now, anyone else that comes here is going to have to do the 2 blues and the 2 yellows to make an offering. So anyway, so I came here, and I did move, so I would have taken the ring from where I left. But now I'm not gathering any rings. I'm making an offer. So do I have 3 black rings? I do. So I'm going to take these 3 rings, put them in my island. Now the island placement says your first one has to be on a matching elemental area. So this is black, that's black. My first one can go right there. Then I have to place adjacent. And as the game goes on, when you first start, obviously it's got to be adjacent. So I could go like that. I could do that if I wanted. I could go straight out like that if I wanted. So I would say I do this. This gives me 3 points because you're scoring the rings that you first place. So this little marker goes up to 3. I instantly score 3 points. All right. Now this also shows this little shell on it. Scale. There's scales. So this says I get to place the scale out. And this is the, let me just get this out of the way. This is the one that's attached to here. So I would put my little scale out on this card, and then it says, I score points equal to all of my summoning scales placed anywhere. Right now it's my only one, right? Plus, you're encircled lightning elemental rifts. Well, in this case, I didn't encircle a lightning. That's the yellow. So, but I would get a point for this scale. So I get a point for that right away. So that's just kind of an example of a move. Now this will flip over. So the next person that comes here, they're going to have 2 of the blue rings and then 2 yellow rings to actually put those out. They have to have them in their holding area, then they place those out on their island. So you're going around basically trying to go to these different things. You have to have these rings to be able to go there, and then some of them, like this one, doesn't have the little scale. So when you fulfill this, you're placing 4 out, and you're not putting a scale out. But once someone does this 4, then this flips back over, and now the next person will do the 3 blacks and then put a scale out. These cards, there's a bunch of them, and they do different things. Like this one says, for the rest of the game, you score a point for every scale, per scale for every depleted seawell you fly over. So a depleted seawell is when one of these becomes empty. We do put, what did I do with them? There are these sand dollar tokens that you put in here into the depleted seawells. And at first I thought, well, why do I even need it? I can see that it's empty. But honestly, for some reason, that makes it a lot easier to see when you're sitting around the board that that's empty. It really does make a difference. So I'm actually glad that they put those in. But that makes you see that it's there and it's empty. But if I was to fly over it, then, you're going to get those points for that. So there's all these different things. Again, there's like a whole bunch of these different types of cards with different bonuses and stuff. So that's going to help with changing the way the game plays. All right. So I think that kind of gives you an idea of how the game kind of plays. There's some other things too. Once you put a ring over around these little scales, you can put any kind of colored ring around it, but then it shows you what you have to have. I have to have a ring on each side of it of the same color. So if I had a red here, I don't get that scale until I get rings of the same color on each side. Once I've completed that, then I get to take that scale and I can put that on any one of these bonuses and take that bonus immediately. So it's kind of another way you're trying to make those things match and do the various things. Now, I will show you, I'm going off my script here, but you're putting out these rings on your island, and you kind of want to put them. There's a little card. You'll have a reference card. Man, my lighting is so bad in here today. I don't know why everything's so bright. My lights are shining up, not down. But this card shows you, and the book explains how each colored ring is going to score points at the end of the game. So, having blues all in a line, you're going to get your longest ring of, if I had these 3 blues together, say I had a ring of 2 blues over here. Okay. This is my longest one, and I'm going to get 2 points for the ring. So this is be worth 6 points. And again, if I can make this longer, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's worth 10 points. And then if I had another ring of 4 blue somewhere else, those wouldn't count because the 5 is the longest. So your yellow rings, you're going to get 2 for every yellow ring. Doesn't matter how many are in that group. So if I've got a bunch of yellows together, if this guy's sitting here and the blue, and he's surrounded by other colors, I'll just place the correct. This guy's worth 2 points. And then this one is worth 2 points. So it's just, I got a grouping of yellows. I got a group 1 here. So that's how those score. Your black rings will score points based on what's around it. So you get a point for every different colored ring. So just if, for example, obviously this can't go here because it's a blue on the bottom, but if you have a black ring, I'd get a point, 1, 2, 3 points for the different colors around it. Max is 3. So if this was like this, I could get 1, 2, 3. I don't get a 4th one for that. You're just getting it for each color, max of 3. And then your reds, you get For every 3 rings you have anywhere on the board, for any 3, you get 5. If I've only got 2 reds at the end of the game, I get no points. If I only have 1, I get no points. If I have 4 rings out there, I still only get 5 points. Would need 3 reds to get 5, 6 red rings to get 10 points, etc. So you've got that. That's kind of like your final scoring but you're doing a bunch of instant scoring as you're going around the board. So there's a lot happening. Okay, so let me get back on track. So this game is a medium-sized game. You do get this seaboard, and I don't think I'm going to take these dragon pieces off. I want to kind of show this so you can kind of see how it's clear. And if I can try to get it there, you can kind of see it at an angle. You can kind of see down. You get to see like the different ring colors that are under the lower levels, and these do fit. They fit. The rings go on, so it does. They do sit down into the rings, but that's really neat because as you're playing, like here, I can see there's a blue on top, but I can see there's a black, yellow, and an orange. I can see from here that's what's stacked under there, under the seabed. So, I know if I leave here, then this ring's going to come off, and I know what's left. So maybe I need that blue, and maybe I need a black and a yellow, right? So I can still, even with this covered, I can see here, because this is empty, I can see black, yellow, and orange there. So I know I want a black and a yellow. So if I go here, I'm getting this blue one because I left. Oh, look, there's my black and my yellow. So it's really neat that type of what this seaboard does and how they've designed it. All right. So anyways, we get a rule book that I mentioned. We do get 4 dragon cards and minis. So again, these are the wooden dragon minis. Really nice. And then I did show off a couple of the dragon cards. So these are the main ones that you get. These dragons. And then they all have asymmetrical abilities on the back. All right. And then there is a 5th one that is gray that also has its own asymmetrical ability on the back. You do get the 6 island boards, which I mentioned. There's reference cards, which I showed you about scoring. There's a bunch of these summoning scales. That's these little things. There are score trackers. So you get these little score trackers. They are small. Has a little star on the one side, and then the other side says plus 50. If that comes in. So once you go around, then you can flip it over. And then if you go again, you can basically just kind of place this thing here, because then it's, so say I've gone around again, I've got 50. Now I'm into my next 50. And then if you come around, now you're like at 100. So that's kind of, you flip those over. They both say 50, but, where were we? 112 elemental rings. That's all of these rings. You get 13 sand dollar tokens. That's these things. Also, these do come with cardboard version. We have, let's see, 1 Maelstrom token. This is just a first player marker, so it's just on the one side. So that's a little storm. Maelstrom. I think I typed it up wrong. There's 16 summoning cards, which are, I believe that's what these are. These are the ones that you can do because you're summoning like animals and things to the island. There's the 4 wavering shrine tiles. There are weather cards that I haven't played with the weather cards yet, but there's 4 weather cards that will add some additional changes to the game. You can also play this in solo. It has 16 solo mode cards. And there is, like I said, the Void expansion, which does come with another Dragon Mini and a card expanding the game to 5 players. It comes with 4 additional elemental rings. Comes with its own additional rules card. It gets 7 summoning scales, 2 score markers, and then there's 24 Void Shrine cards. I have not played these, but these are different types of summoning cards. So they have all these different abilities, and I have not looked at this one yet, but eventually I'll get to play with this and find out how that all works. And that's kind of what comes in the game. There's a lot here in the small box. There colorblind issues. There's a lot of colors you can see, but if you take a look at the rings, they do have different like symbols on them. So I'm not colorblind myself, but I'm hoping and would assume that someone who might be colorblind would see those symbols around the rings and they could match those symbols up. So it's supposed to, if you're not able to match colors or you have an issue with that, they do have symbols or designs on each of the rings. So I don't think there'll be any issues there. Artwork it's beautiful. I really love the artwork on this. I think it's a beautiful looking game with the art on the components. Like I said, they even have designs on the dragon pieces on the rings. I originally thought these were just going to be colored, but again, there's designs on the rings, so it looks really nice. And then of course the boards look fantastic as well as the cards do. So the goal of this game, and this is right from the rule book, in Tatsumi, the islanders celebrate you as their guardian dragon, their Tatsu. So your calling is to restore the elementals on your island and renew good fortune for your people. To earn the most good fortune, which is the prestige or points, and win the game, you got to gather and place elemental rings to heal the island rifts, unlocking island bonuses, summon animals, and master the elements, which is all kind of what I just went over and showed you. Is the playtime accurate? Yes. My first playthrough, I think just learning, I sat, just kind of played by myself and had like another player. So I just kind of do this mock 2-player game and I control both players and just kind of, what do I want to do as this player? What do I want to do as this player? It took me like 50 minutes. And again, as I was playing it, I was going back to the book just to make sure I was doing things. And I did find that it would have gone quicker, but I missed. When I first started, I was just moving and gathering here. I wasn't taking the ring from the spot I left, which would have shortened my game time. But 50 minutes in a 40-minute game when I was first learning it and actually doing something that was going to slow it down. So it's definitely a very accurate time. Let's see. So some interesting information around this game. So this game is designed, whoops. I've already forgot his name and I apologize. The game's designed by Jeremy Rosenhart, and I was looking up, it's not a name I'm familiar with, but I looked up and he's done some other games. I think according to BGG, this is the 4th game he's designed. But he made One Card Wonders that came out in 2024 that is currently rated as a 10 on BGG. And he also designed Wizard Thieves that has a rating of 8.3. So Jeremy's done some really good games, and I'm like, the pedigree is there. Right now, this game is sitting at a 7.1, I believe. I rated it much higher than that myself. I absolutely love this game, and I can't wait to get this to the table with my game group. I think it's going to be a huge hit. But I do believe that rating is going to come up as this game gets out. Right now, it's just getting out there. So I honestly expect this to get into the 8s. I think it's just that good. All right. So let's talk about my pros. I've got a bunch. So again, this game is beautiful. These components are top notch. The seaboard is done very well. Sometimes when a game company does something like this, it can feel gimmicky, but I really believe they did a lot of thought and into this process, and this doesn't feel gimmicky. Like this is so cool. The seaboard works and it makes sense for what this game is doing, and it works. I just love that. The rule book is very colorful, filled with lots of examples. This game plays quickly. fact, you know what? Hold up. Let me switch cameras real quick. All right, I feel better about this. You've seen all that. Now I just want to chit chat with you for a minute. But the rule book has got a lot of examples. It's very colorful. The game plays very quick. It's very easy to learn, and it does. It plays quickly. You know, you're moving, gathering, or moving and making an offer. That's it, and it moves to the next player. It is very quick. This game should even appeal to hardcore gamers, even though this is like a I'm going to say medium weight game, maybe light to medium, but I would firmly myself put this as a medium weight because it's easy to learn, but there is still a lot going on. It is rated at a 2.0 out of 5, but there is a lot happening in this game, and there's a lot of strategy and thinking. So it's not just like a real quick, simple game. There's a little bit to it. It's easy to learn, but then to learn and strategize and things like that is where I think hardcore gamers will appreciate this game. So again, turns are quick and alleviate long waits between turns. There's very little downtime, which is great. Players will stay involved and invested in this game. The seaboard, I mentioned this already, it's unique. I love how you can use it to help plan your future moves. Seeing those colored rings beneath the top ones allows for some advanced strategic play. Again, I mentioned that and talked about that a little bit ago. And then the asymmetry allows for so many options in playing this game, and we'll have people coming back time and time again for a unique experience each time. And the cool thing is, like, you know, the islands, you can play the islands will be different. Your dragons will respond different. There's one of them, I think it's the blue dragon, will actually, when you move, you go down. You can go down a blue ring, or no, you go down the ring that you're on, and then you come out another ring anywhere on the board of the same color. I believe that's how that works. I'm like, that's the only one that does it, you know. All the others can, like, one can, like, I think fly anywhere or something like that. And then there's others that they just all move and handle gathering and stuff differently. So very unique each time you play. And then the last thing I put in here as a pro is that this game has several mechanisms. They have endgame bonuses, grid movement, pick up and deliver, set collection, tile placement, and variable player powers. These are beloved mechanisms that will help you easily bring other players to the table. Maybe they don't like the theme, but they're like, oh, I like pick up and deliver. I like set collection. I like tile placement. You know, there's so many different mechanisms that people just love and understand from other games they've played that it's going to be easier for them to just pick this up. All right, so a couple of cons. And again, these are, I always feel like I never have enough cons, but I usually don't review games that I don't like. So that's kind of one, you know, if I'm going to review something, I don't want to beat up on devs and things like that. So, but I'm always going to be honest in my reviews. And so if I don't have a lot, that's just because I honestly didn't find anything. And a lot of times I'm nitpicking. And that's what, again, I'm doing with this one. I will say, an honest, for me, the rule book is short and it's a good size. It's only 8 pages total. You know, so there's, but my issue with the rule book was I felt that, you know, and I'll give you a look at, boop, there's a lot. In fact, let me switch cameras again. I'm going to place the rule book here. There's a lot on this page. Like, I just feel like I kind of feel like they crammed everything in to get it into just a few pages. I kind of, when I was trying to find stuff, it should be easy. It's only 8 pages, but I think there were so many things that were distracting. And then something I was trying to find was like, you know, I see this, like this here, I'm looking for this blessing thing, but then it's like, I got to read down here. Or a couple of times it was like, you're reading this tiny print, what you're really looking for. So I'm going to say the rule book, I kind of wish it had another page or two and was not as crammed in. Again, it's a nitpick. You're going to read this rule book once, maybe twice, and then it's done, right? The other thing is, for me, now this is just, this was me, but this little scar, I got big hands. I'm a big guy. I got big old meaty mitts here, right? This little token, I mean, look at that. It's tiny in my fingers. And then this is tiny. So as I was moving it, I was like, man, am I they do have a every 5, but if you're going like 3, or I can see myself putting that token in the wrong spot mistakenly, just because it's kind of tiny. Again, it's a nitpick, and it probably won't be an issue. But again, it's something that as I was playing out, I remember going, oh, I wish this was a little bigger. I wish these were a little bigger. I wish these tokens were a little bit bigger, but that would make the boards a little bit bigger. But it's just something I would prefer: a little bit bigger board, a little bit bigger tokens of these, and a little bit bigger on the scoring. That's it. Again, it's a minor. It doesn't break anything in the game. Just a couple things those are the two things that I did notice in my first playthrough and look at this game. All right. So now back camera. So back to my final thoughts. Again, please like, subscribe if you haven't, absolutely free, and hit that bell icon, because Rob's got a video up, and it may drop at any moment. Might even get out before this one does. So you don't want to miss his content. All right. So my final thoughts on Tatsumi. I backed this game back in November of 2024. So I have been waiting for this game for a long time. And I am so happy to say that it did not let me down, and it was worth the wait. I love the uniqueness of this game, as it's different from anything else that I have in my library. This game plays quick, keeps you engaged, and there are so many variations of abilities and bonuses that this game is always going to feel fresh every time that I play. The art is gorgeous. The components are high quality. These dual layered island boards are excellent for tracking your points and keeping your rings in place. Everything, everything stays in its place. See, these are like when you don't have a dual layer, stuff just slides off your board, right? These things slide around. But all this stuff, and that's just because I just stuck that there. Everything that you play on this board stays in its spot because it's got a little well there that it sits down into. Love dual player boards. All right, and the main seaboard, talked about it. That thing is so neat. It's going to be an eye catcher on your table. People are going to come up and go, "What game is that?" So be prepared for that when you're playing. This game, I believe, has been very well thought out. This is going to keep gamers happy for years to come. My final thought: don't miss out on this excellent game. So again, that's Tatsumi from Adam's Apple Games and Jeremy Rosenhart. And I want to give a shout out to the solo mode was done by Ryan Lambert and Adam Rayberg. So shout out to them. And then again, Shirley Gong for doing the art. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to hit those buttons, do all that cool stuff, and leave comments below. I love reading your comments. All right. Thanks so much. Have an excellent day. And again, we'll see you at the table.